for. Then you know what's crazy though? Is that this shit only gives you like 40 minutes for the basic plan because we're broke.
Yeah.
Because we broke. Okay, Carlos. You know what's so funny? I was editing the video, the last podcast, and I hit that. Something don't feel right. You know what I mean? Because we was recording it, and we was recording it, and it was so short. And hit that. We talking to Carlos. I'm like, Carlos, are you sure? He's like, yeah. It's 40 minutes. Yeah. I was like, are you sure? Yeah, it's 40 minutes. I get the video that says 28 minutes.
I feel like he set us up and he had somewhere to be, so he painted early.
Exactly, bro. Anyways, let me get into this real quick. Welcome you guys to episode, what is this, 5?
Episode 5.
With your co-host Anthony and my other co-host Cam. Gotta hit that. Shout out to Carlos, he can be here today. Shout out to him. I was ready for him. Freaking practice. Imagine you gotta go to practice when you ride the bench. Imagine you get an NBA player and you gotta go to practice, right?
Yeah.
And you're like the 10 through 15 on the bench. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're the 10 through 15 player. You're like the rotation piece just in case, and they get a sprained ankle. You know what I mean? Or they come down with the flu, they put you in the game. You know what I mean? And you only get 2 minutes.
You know what? Excuse like you gotta stay ready.
You gotta stay ready always. But that's still
that's so dumb.
And you know what's so crazy? You go to practice, you do all this stuff just to ride the bench. It's like, I did what is it? You start off playing basketball in middle school and elementary, and you do all that AAU traveling, high school playing basketball, and then you get all the way to the leagues just to ride the bench.
Yeah, but the thing is with that, you get paid to ride the bench though, versus when you're like in school, you get criticized very hard to ride the bench.
But the thing is, if you're in the NBA, that means you was raw everywhere else. You know what I mean? I was watching this little interview with LeBron, and LeBron was like, "There's no scrubs in the NBA." Yeah, they might be scrubs playing against other NBA players, but they go to the rec league or they go to a pickup game outside the NBA. They the main niggas scoring. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But there's scrubs in the NBA compared to the other people, though. That's there.
Exactly.
But versus when you're in high school and you ride bench, you don't hear about that your whole high school career.
Is it really that, though? Do you really going to hear about that? I feel like if you ride bench in high school, you still get fired up, especially for Stranahan.
Yeah.
Especially for Stranahan. Like, you roll the bench on varsity team, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, but you still get the ring.
You got the ring, exactly. You got the goddamn ring. So it doesn't
kind of like the Giannis brother. He didn't play not one game in the finals, but he got it before his brother though.
Some point, he's like, I need to get is this how it feels to be a champ? Is this how it feels? You ever seen him live? You seen Giannis live when his brother came to Greece? When he came to Greece, he met him at the airport and he had a whole bunch of people there for him, pumping the horn and all that stuff. I'm like, imagine you get this kind of cheer for riding the bench. He didn't even get into the game.
Yeah.
That boy came out the airport. He was like, yes, thank you.
That's kind of like how when it's like what's the day when people that went to the army and they get all this respect? What is that day called?
Veterans Day?
Is it Veterans Day? It's kind of like that because some people think when it's Veterans Day, those are people that been fighting in the field. No, that could have been the person giving out haircuts in the army. Yeah, thank you for fighting. No.
Did you get this batch? Did you get sent out? No, I never did. I was the dude that crunched the numbers.
Exactly. Like in the Vietnam War, there was a dude that used to hold the freaking radio. That guy.
Yeah. I did that. No, I was just the dude crunching the numbers. Nothing else. Just do that doing that.
You know what ad I seen about the army? It was an ad, and it was like I think it was a girl or a guy. It was like, oh, you can still have your dream of being a drum player in the U.S. Army. I'm like, what? Is this the freaking Civil War when that dude's drumming?
Imagine. You know the funny thing though? Back in Civil War and those times back then, you always had the dude that played the drums, and he had to do that kind of flag. And I'm like, that's the dumbest thing to do. Like, imagine you being that dude and you're just dribbling the drums away. And you get your crowd hype. I guess I'm thinking like this is to get the army hype, get the troops hype. And you dribbling your drums like, and you just watch somebody get shot by a cannon. Am I supposed to keep playing? Am I supposed to keep playing? Okay. All right. And I was watching this movie. It was in the Civil War. And then when one dude gets shot with the flag, another soldier comes to pick it back up and carry it. And I'm like, I don't want to carry it though, because I need my guns at all times. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You're carrying the flag.
But in the movies, they made it look like they was honored to carry the flag. You know what I mean? And I was like, that's bullshit. I mean, nobody. I bet you 100% nobody was back then was like, nah, nigga, I'm not picking this shit up.
Wait, I think it was World War II. It's like a painting where it's like a whole bunch of army troops and they're like holding the flag.
Exactly.
Where they got the flag from?
They got the flag. We got this fucking 10 feet long flag. I don't know who the fuck was carrying this shit.
Exactly.
Unnecessary shit. Unnecessary shit. So you know what I want to talk about though? The NBA draft. They need to put some respect on my dog LaMelo Ball name.
I haven't been keeping up with the draft though, but I've been seeing this stuff.
There's only 3 people: Edwards, Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, and Wiseman. James Wiseman. James Wiseman is a center. I don't remember what team he played for, but he didn't really get to play the whole season because they said that he has something going on. I think it was something going on, thinking like he was getting paid or something like that. So they made him ineligible to play the rest of the season. So he sat out for that. And Anthony Edwards is a shooting guard, and he's like 6'4". He's not really that. He's big. He's built, but he's like 6'4", and more of a he's a scorer. Not gonna lie to you, he's a scorer. But everybody says that, you know, it's the craziest thing. Everybody says that LaMelo Ball has the most talent in the whole draft. He has the most talent in the whole draft, but people is hesitant to pick him. You know what I mean?
I would say he has more experience. I think that's what they're trying to get at, experience-wise, versus the regular that played in college and he played overseas.
That man did so much, and I feel like the thing is what messed him up is his dad. His dad
his dad got him there though. Are you talking about the criticism he get?
Yeah, look at Lonzo. Lonzo Ball is not a bad player. He starts every game he plays. If you start in the league, that means you're clearly a good player on your team. Even when he was with the Lakers, he was a good player. But with him, what happened is his dad hyped his name up so much that made him go second overall. And he goes second overall, and he's saying all this stuff, and he's not producing it. But the thing is, people not looking at is how he's dropping, 9 assists a game, leading the team in assists, but they're looking so much on the scoring. And I was looking at it, it was like, is it really scoring? Is really scoring the number one thing? Is to call somebody trash. You know what I mean? But the thing with LaMelo is he always loved to score the ball. You know what I mean? Even when he was in high school, he dropped like 94 points. Even though that was just freaking cherry picking, but even though he still dropped 94 points. You know what I mean? Yeah. He loves to score and loves to shoot. Just pull up and shoot. That boy, he looks like he want to be the next Steph Curry sometimes. So at the same time, you have somebody who can do the same thing as Lonzo, but likes to score. And another thing is they used to say around Lonzo's name is that he didn't want to score the ball. He wasn't aggressive. You know what I mean? He didn't want to. Yeah. He has like 6'6". 6'6". He didn't want to dribble into the paint and do something with it. He just want to dance around the perimeter or on the fast break, which he was used to in Chilling Hills day when he just outlet passed that whole time.
But you think from a business standpoint they'll be picking him up first or like top 5, which he's gonna be because business standpoint. You remember when Lonzo he got drafted to the Lakers? Everybody was hyped.
Everybody was watching it.
They seen that exactly.
Everybody was watching the game, and the thing is, Lonzo did not have a bad rookie season. He didn't have a bad rookie season. He made every rookie on his team good. And everybody who played on the court with him, their numbers was up because he was a passer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they made it seem like he was a bad hit, even though the only thing that was wrong with him was the shot, and he wasn't aggressive when he wanted to score. In order to score the ball, he wasn't aggressive. So that's the only thing that was wrong with him. You know what I mean? But other than that, right now he's developed a shot, and he still has that passing ability. You know what I mean? And plus now he's playing with Zion, which we haven't even seen anything with that yet. So
yeah,
that's just too premature. And with the thing with LaMelo is, if you pick him up, there's going to be so much hype. Everybody's going to watch him because since he was in high school, niggas was watching him. You know what I mean? So all that hype around his name, all that fame, is going to bring revenue anyway. It's going to bring people watching them anyway. Just like with Zion. As soon as Zion came into college, as soon as he played with Duke, the president, Barack Obama, went to the game.
Exactly.
Yeah, everybody's going to the game to watch Zion play.
Even Jay-Z was at one of them games.
Exactly. So the hype around his name is easy enough. If we pick him up, our team's ready going to make the money back for him anyway. So, you know what I mean? So looking at it, I was like, dude, it's a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer. But I'm watching all these analysts and all these journalists saying, I don't know, it's not a clear thing. And I'm like, that's a lie. This is a lie. That is a lie. I don't believe that at all. Or whatever it is. But, it's going to come up. The draft, I think the free agency is before the draft, right?
I'm not sure, but most likely.
No. The draft is before the free agency, and the draft, I think, is the 19th. I think it's the 20th, actually, never mind. I think it's the 20th. And that's when the draft is. So I'm just waiting for that day to see what happens. But the craziest thing is how they're going back on December, the 22nd?
22nd.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that. I was like, imagine, I want to get your perspective. What do you think on them going back early? If they have can they even debate going back early?
Going back early, the only reason I say they're going back early is for a money standpoint, but I feel like it's the NBA though. So they could take time off to start another season, but I'm not sure how the revenue is with COVID going on. So that's probably why they're starting early.
I was looking at it, I was like, dude, I was talking to my mom, I was like, I find it funny how someone at their position is negotiating whether or not they want to go back to work or not at the time they're getting asked. I was like, as somebody like me, if I got a phone call tomorrow saying, I need you to come into work at 10 o'clock, I'm there. I'm there. Yeah, I'm there. 100%. Not even this is a late notice out of nowhere. This is out of blue. No, I'm there. 100%. I got my clothes ready to go. My shoes ready. Got the gas filled up. Whatever you need me to be, I gotta go to work.
But we should have known they couldn't make a decision because they had a little boycott. I think they only lasted for like two games.
Yeah.
And they came to an agreement. So it was like they can't really boycott it. That's what people thought was going to happen. But
they did come to an agreement of, okay, we're going to come back the 22nd of December, but instead of 82 games, we're doing 72 games. Which is
I don't 10 games.
Okay, take off 10 games. Okay. Like, we're going to take off 10 games. Okay, go ahead. So instead of 72, they're doing 82. And I was looking at it, I'm like, dude, what the fuck we are doing? You're not doing anything. Except going out, freaking, like you said, what's his name?
James Harden. Why is he hanging out with little baby for? He's in Atlanta, and James Harden, he's in Houston. What's going on?
Nothing else to do. So, when you got the people who didn't even make it to the playoffs that hasn't even played since March. So, knowing how we are, if I picked up a basketball now, I can't make a shot to save my life.
Well, I'm pretty sure most of them were practicing, but I doubt it though.
Exactly. What's going on?
But most of them, they probably have hoops in their houses though. But that depends. Then it goes back to the bench because people on the bench, they don't have them hoops in their houses.
Actually, another thing that was talking about how the league was talking about, reporting was talking about, there's not a lot of people that have max dollars that's making that max contract. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't understand financial literacy because what happened is you see these niggas that says, oh, the contract is like what? Like look at Steph Curry contract. He's getting what? Paid $44 million a year.
Yeah, and that's before tax.
That's before tax. Now he lives in where he lives. He lives in
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Over there. That's Golden State. Yeah.
Exactly. You live in San Francisco. He lives in San Francisco, and I know California. I'm thinking California has state tax. If I'm wrong, I think California has state tax. So you have state taxes, then you have federal taxes, and then knowing them, they have agents, and agents off rip takes 8 to 10%. So you're looking at around what? 50%, 55% of that money that's going to be gone away to like expenses that's outside your reach, other than personal expenses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're coming home with what, 22 million a year. Mm-hmm. So you're looking at 22 million a year, and that's for Steph Curry. That's making 40 million. Okay. Now look at the freaking 6 through 10 rosters, the niggas that comes off the bench, and the niggas that are reserves. If you look at them, they're making what the most I'm thinking is like 10 million.
Yeah, or some they're like making like 500, 700K plus.
Exactly. And
with that, I want to talk about the WNBA once you finish this.
Like I said, I'm gonna wrap it up, but I'm just saying you have those, and then you have what 50% of it goes away to the agents and the state taxes. And no, if you live in a state that don't even have this, that can be a case sometimes too. But then you have the federal and Uncle Sam and all that stuff. So you already come home with them. They only coming home with freaking what 2 million, 5 million the most. A year. So I'm just saying that everybody's thing, and then you have all their family they have to take care of with that money. So, but the thing is, you can go ahead with the WNBA.
Oh, WNBA, because you know how they say, the women should get paid more than the NBA. But the thing with that is comes with the sponsorship.
Close, you know what I mean? They should.
Yes. But the thing is, the people that can like talk about it the most, the way they can solve it is by watching the games. That's how the NBA gets most of their stuff, because of the views. If you watch the NBA, the WNBA games, if their views go up, they will get more money into the league.
Exactly. It's so funny.
That's how it works. So just watch the WNBA games, and it will get paid more.
It's so funny. You know, it's a funny thing. I was watching the interview. They was talking about it, and it was a girl talking about it too. And she said something that I don't like get emotional about it, but she said something I really didn't agree with. She was like, why don't the NBA help out? No, give them some money. I'm like, we work for this though. The NBA been around for 60 plus years.
I think the WNBA came like in 99.
96. They came out in 96.
Yeah.
This is what, 24 years old? The league is 24 years old. It was funny. I was looking at it, and it was an Instagram post, and it was like 1 year of Steph Curry's salary is the whole WNBA cap space for the whole league. It's like 44 million.
You don't know the comparison? Going back to the views, Flight Reacts, he gets like 2.2 million views for each video he drops. The WNBA games get like 400K views for every game. All you got to do is watch them.
It's not entertaining. It's not entertaining. And you know, I feel like it's kind of a lot to do with gender. Because if you're a male watching basketball, once the NBA season is over, niggas ain't watching the WNBA. Like, it's no.
One thing I can say about women basketball, middle school and high school female games are the most entertaining games ever. I'm not sure because they suck or whatever it is.
Dude, you know,
those are bad games.
I don't know if you wait. When we was in high school and we was playing on the JV team, does JV go before the girls game?
One game they went before us.
I think that one y'all went against Hollandale, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Dude, you watched the game?
Yeah.
I think it was
pretty entertaining.
I think he was in the locker room, but there was a moment. It was around the third quarter, and it was funny watching the dude that was coaching the team. That man was so upset. He was having clipboard, right? And he'd be like, "Oh my god, oh I can't believe, come here, I need you, come here, get in the game, come out." What are you doing? And then the funniest thing about it is one of the girls that was like 6'2",
Yeah.
she went to the coach. I'm tired. I can't. I gotta get out.
Let a guy say that. What?
He came to the coach. I was like, I'm tired, coach. Take me out, please. No, we gotta take it because everybody else on the bench is like they smaller and she's the tallest dude. And I'm thinking she's the star player. I think she's the star player. I think it's the twins. It's like, take me out the game, coach. Please take me out the game. Coach was looking like, what? So I'm looking at it, and I'm like, you gotta hope y'all get some sponsors.
Exactly.
I don't know what to tell you. Get some sponsors, bro. Like, sponsors go a long way.
I've seen a WNBA game on TNT because depending on the network, that's how also they get the money. Because most of the primetime games are on TNT. I've never seen a WNBA game on TNT or ABC. Or, they've been on ESPN? Yeah, they've been on ESPN. I've never seen it on TNT or ABC.
It's not even on ESPN, though. It's on ESPN. It's not even on ESPN. It's on ESPN, too. These things don't even get ESPN. And then most of the time it's on Fox Sports. So, like, dude, that's just garbage.
But you know what you think about it, too? Because it's like, because you see how when you see the NBA players, they get millions, and you see how they spend it on cars and jewelry sometimes, Bay House and stuff like that. But it's like, what is the female NBA player spending the money on? You can also look like that with also female rappers and male rappers too, and just artists in general, because you don't really see what they're spending it on. Like, for example, Zendaya, those Spider-Man movies box office numbers be pretty huge. So what is Zendaya spending that money on versus another big time actor?
No, it's crazy.
You can see what they're spending money on.
It's crazy you say that. Is that I was looking at it. I was watching. I've been watching a lot of inspirational stuff on YouTube because like niggas be down sometimes.
Yeah.
And what happened is I'm looking at it and it was talking about finances of rich people and stuff. And you never seen GQ interviews of when they got their first million?
No, I haven't seen it. I've been watching other GQ videos like the watches and the jewelry and the 10 essentials.
Gotcha. There was a very GQ video that they do with the rookie NBA players. And they'd be like, what did you do with your first million after you get drafted? And then mostly, I bought a car for my mom. I bought a car for my dad. I bought some clothes. I got a little apartment, stuff like that. And the rest they haven't spent yet. And I'm looking at it. I'm guessing the rest they're saving for taxes. Because it's like, every time I get to like 500K, they stop right there. And I was looking at it. I was like, a lot of people that when they make like a rapper who gets signed or a YouTuber that's making millions, it's more so I'm just buying stuff for like to flex, you know what I mean? And I was looking at it, I'm like, you go on Instagram, you see all these people flexing their money. I'm like, dude, this is why you see so much black people don't have nothing because it's more of a flex instead of more of a let me buy some land.
Yeah.
Let me buy
but you know who
I mean?
Who fault that is kind of? It can be the people they looked up to because most of the people from the street, they look up to the drug dealer or whoever's making the money. And those people they look up to, they don't see what they're doing behind the scenes, which is actually positive because there's a whole bunch of rappers that do a whole bunch of stuff financially that's smart, but they don't show that on Instagram or put in their music.
And I'm like, dude, it's like, y'all niggas is open up a bank account. I want to know what is so cool about walking around with 30K. Like, I remember going on the end of the year field trip. Remember that? Remember we used to go on the end of the year field trip to Orlando, and you go to Disney World, and you go Islands of Adventure, whatever, and your mom gave you like at least $100.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And when you keep breaking the 20s, the freaking thing, you get so much change in your pocket. And I was like, every time I used to come, I used to have my thing used to be like this way because it'd be like ones, five. And it was so annoying. To me, it was so annoying. I was like, I have this money. And it's so annoying because it goes in my pocket and I gotta go like this. And I gotta take it out and I gotta flip through it.
Bro, let me tell you a story. One time with that Islands of Adventure, they had 100. They was like, bro, do you got any singles? So they got the singles, right? So they got the big wad of money. But it's only $100. These white girls come. The white girls come like, oh, you got money. I'm like, I'm just looking at them. I'm like, it's only $100 in singles. And you're just flexing with them $100. So in singles.
Exactly. I'm like, dude, I hate having cash. I hate having all this cash on me. Like, the invention of a credit card and the invention of the swipe is the most incredible thing to me. Because, like, I just go in, swipe it, gone. Having cash, all that cash on me, I'm looking at it, I'm like, dude, open up a savings account. That's shit. Stop flexing it. Nobody gives a freak that you have 30,000 cash. And I remember, you seen the picture with Migos and Ellen? And they had the Migos had like stacks of cash and Ellen had a credit card in her hand. And he hit that one with the most money has the only has the credit card in her hand. And it was like, it's so true. Because what are you doing? I was looking at niggas like Floyd Mayweather that be going walking around casually with 100K on him all the time.
Yeah.
What are you buying? What are you buying? What are you buying? At all times you have to have 100K on you. And I was like, I understand you got the money like that. I understand he's like worth 500 mil. I understand that. I get all that. But why you need this much money on you? You know what I mean?
But usually they just take that, they say, because they're buying something. They take it because they're about to go buy something. But talking about the bank account things, I was watching the T.I.'s podcast, and he had Killer Mike on there. And because Killer Mike, he made a bank, Greenwood Bank, and he was saying he took Young Thug with him to make a bank account. So this year is the first year Young Thug ever had a bank account. But every time he always get paid in cash with all this stuff.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And that goes back to financial literacy. Right? That not a lot of black people know about financial literacy. You know what I mean? Same thing with immigrants. Niggas know about keeping their money. They don't trust the banks. They don't trust that shit. And I'm like, dude, you're easier to get robbed like that. Nigga, all the nigga gotta do is pull up with a gun. And then that nigga's 30K richer. That nigga, bro. Yeah. What was that thing you saw about with the Beyonce situation?
About how females, they don't upgrade their men anymore, and vice versa.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Explain yourself.
Because Beyonce, she came out with the song for a reason. The song is literally called Upgrade You. Okay? And nobody has done that since 2003. That song came out. So,
hey, it's all about, I need a nigga with 6 fingers. That's my type. That's my type. I was watching this thing on YouTube. Not on YouTube, on Instagram. And the dude was asking this question. I'm guessing they're two random people. But he asked the dude first. He was like, "You see this girl? Would you bag this girl?" Basically, and he was like, "Yeah, hell yeah." And then she asked her, "Would you bag him?" And then she was like, "No, I want it. He's not my type." Then how niggas get all insecure or whatever they use on that. But she said he asked her, "So what's your type?" And she said hood niggas. I'm like. I'm like, he was like, he's not hood enough. I'm like, is that the criteria?
Yeah, that's what you want? That's it?
You want? You gotta have fun. You gotta help you find the right hood nigga. Before you go. But I was looking at it, it was like, where's the females like Michelle Obama at, yo? You know what I mean? Educated.
Yeah.
I was watching a lot of interviews with Michelle Obama because she dropped a book last year called Coming, and she's so well spoken and educated. You know what I mean? And she was talking about how having a president like Obama as a husband, as what she was doing to help him out, and what she was able to do as well when he was under presidency, how she started the Let's Move movement. You remember that? The Let's Move, and then you had the thing with the school.
Yeah, with all the fruit.
Exactly. How she was.
Ever since then, I never had a star fruit since then.
Exactly.
It's new.
Like, she was having all that stuff about what she's doing. And it was like looking at it, it was like, there's no woman. I know I haven't met no woman. There's no like that nowadays. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I was looking at it, I was like, where are those people at? And then another thing I blame the mothers.
Yeah, I was just thinking that too.
I blame the mothers that doesn't pay attention anymore. You know what I mean? And then I blame the music that the woman makes nowadays, which is hilarious, is because they use us so much. I hate when a woman does that. For everything they do, they say the man does it. And I'm like, yeah, we do it, but we're not talking about ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, listen though. Like,
what exactly though?
I'm gonna explain it. When we talk about females, I understand they talk about females in the demonic manner, whatever.
Yeah.
But when you talk about a dude don't talk about themselves. Like how they have, I don't know how to explain it. Like, okay, let's go like this. In the songs that women make, they talk about they pussy, how they pussy this and that and that, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
You ever had a dude that was talking to that themselves and like bring down themselves, their value of themselves?
I can't think of it, but the way they look at it is as empowerment, though, because women, they're not in society. The way they look at it, they can't talk freely like that. But it's more acceptable, like if it's too short or somebody says it like that. That's more acceptable. So when they say stuff like that in their songs, they make it like breaking the boundary of that.
But let me put it like this: Kamala Harris, in her in the acceptance speech of the authors, she was saying how little girls can look at her now and see how they can be this.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of occasions like that.
Yeah.
Women are like, this is a moment, this is what we can do. First Black woman vice president. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of stuff like that showing the empowerment. Yeah.
You're right about that, because the most
exactly. Let me finish a bit. There's more like, you can do freaking OnlyFans, use your body for publicity.
And they see that as a quick money grab. Exactly. Kamala Harris, nobody sees the money from that. She's not getting paid as much as somebody doing OnlyFans.
It's more, if I wear these kind of clothes, I can get this kind of dude with this kind of financial value and use him for my come up, whatever.
Yeah.
I was looking at Kamala Harris, so I was like, what girl is watching this was like, I want to be that? It's a small few. It's a small few. It's not like that. It's not like that anymore. It's more like, let me get my body right. Let me freaking get hair, nails, and all the eyelashes and stuff. And let's do some OnlyFans. You know what I mean? Let's use my body, and I might go into fashion. And it's more of that is because you see it more on Instagram of this is what it should be. This is what I see. And they put it in their music, and then the girls go and listen to Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, and it's like, okay, this is what I should be. And I was looking at it, I was like, with dudes now, it's not like that though. You know, you have the dude that talk about the past and growing up being drug dealers and stuff, but how often do you see that? You know what I mean?
But also with the guys, they talk about it, but they talk about, well, not all rappers are entertainers. They some talk about it and show you how counterproductive it is and how they did it to escape that reality they were in to advance the way they're living.
Exactly. Gotta hit that. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to point out. With Megan Thee Stallion and all those stuff, they still glorify it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was looking at it, I was like, dude, Kamala Harris, nobody wants to be you. And I feel like, isn't that the case? Look, I remember, okay, let's put it like this. I remember in 2008, when President Barack Obama got elected. I remember being in schools, and it was like, this is a proud day.
Yeah, I went to sleep during the inauguration. but it was still cool.
Exactly, it was a proud day. I remember going to school. I remember being in school. You had a little thing where you had to. I don't remember what it was, but we had to watch a speech in class.
Yeah, the inauguration speech.
It was that. Was that in class?
Yeah.
Exactly. We was watching that in class. It was like we was what in the first grade to 10th. Yeah. No, the elementary, not.
Yeah, we was in first grade.
First grade, kindergarten, one of the two. And we was watching it as kids, and that's what we seen. Even when we get older, and as an older man, we see, even though you still hear it in the rap lyrics of stuff, but it's not. It's just showing you that, oh, I did this. It's more like reflecting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's more
but then that goes back to parents also too. Because it's like you can hear it in the music, but it's like you have to really know what they're trying to say and get across. Because I remember I was listening to NWA like in middle school, and my dad, he used to ask me, what do you get from NWA? He was asking me that just because off the base of he knows what NWA raps about. I'm like, I'm listening to it because it's talking about of the lifestyle that goes on in Compton. And then that's the whole aspect of that. So the way you listen to the music, you have to understand what the artist is talking about in that form, in that type of way, what they're trying to portray in that sense.
Exactly. But I feel like you gotta take responsibility. You know what I mean? Not a lot of people want to take the responsibility anymore for what they're doing out there. You know what I mean? I was watching something. I don't know what I was watching, bro. I need to get this thing, but and the thing, he was like, "There's so much people." No, okay, put it like this in that J. Cole song, 1985, when he's talking about the young rapper. He was like, "Why should you take responsibility for anything you do? You're making money. Why should you even think about the effect you are having on the younger generation? That the kids that listening to your music, the kids that." I remember Juice WRLD said this one time. I don't remember what he said. Yeah, he said it. He said it in an interview. Juice WRLD was like, remember when Juice WRLD did the album with Future? He was
Road on Drugs.
He told Future how he's the reason why he got into lean. And that immediately made him feel bad. Because imagine the kids that's also like Juice WRLD that's getting into the lean and stuff. Because Codeine Crazy was that shit. The song Codeine Crazy was that shit. You know, and Money is a Prick. Like, hey, come on now. Everybody was like, oh, this thing is rapping about it, let's do it. And you see as he progressed in his career, he don't rap like that. He don't rap with those stuff no more. He changed up. He realized he's actually taking responsibility, like, oh, there's other kids listening. So when you look at the stuff and you look at the young women, you have to, see them taking responsibility. Like, you go on Instagram and you see all these OnlyFans that they are making and how they're glorifying their body, which is not a bad thing. That's how you're doing it. And you do it. But you see all these kids, all these girls that's like in middle school and in high school that has a phone and has social media and looking at it and like, oh, I have a body too. Yeah. I can do this as well and I can make money.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. Somebody we went to school with has an OnlyFans.
And I'm looking at it, I'm like, ooh, this is what my mom said. My mom said, you're gonna get married one day. I'm like, I'm not saying down with that out here. Because it's what they always see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they look at us as, oh, we the one that holding it back. It's really you holding it back. They got holding each other.
Have you ever seen what is it? It's the movie Ocean's 8, I think. Mm-hmm. The one where there were all the girls? All the women were out. Yeah. The movie was good, but it's very hard to believe that 8 women can come together.
Planning all this stuff
without fighting.
I have watched the Oceanic. I always say Oceanic. I watched the Oceans 11, 12, and 13. And I understand the dude's perspective of being high not bank robbers, but con artists. You know what I mean? I understand their point of view. Women con artists, I didn't believe that. 8 of them came together
at the same, they're randoms, not even friends. But even when you're friends, like say if you go to an Airbnb, that's why I want to do, make an experiment. Get 8 girls to go to an Airbnb and see how quick a fight breaks out. I'll give you 2 hours.
You know, let me get into it. I don't understand why girls don't want to just get away from each other if you don't like them.
That's true.
That's
Or just be straight up. That's
the funniest shit I have ever heard. Funniest. I was watching Love the Third vlog, and 2 people. It was 2 boys. It was a girl and a boy, and one went to an all-girls school, and the other one went to an all-boys school. And she was like, "Yeah, my all-girls school was always fighting. There's always a fight. It was always fight all the time. You know what I mean?" And then she was like, "At your all-boys school, was there fighting?" Like, she did that. Niggas wasn't fighting like that. If you didn't like a nigga, you just didn't go around the nigga. And it's that simple. And I'm like, why is it so hard for it to be understanding? You know the funniest thing though? You know the funniest thing is I was watching this thing on Instagram, and he was like, I bought this girl what she wanted, and she don't want to eat it. And she was like, she's standing like next to him while he's recording. She hit that. No, I wanted one of your wings. I said, I asked you before I bought the wings. If you wanted wings, you said no, I want this. And she was like, yeah, well, I just want one of your wings. And I was like, he was like, no, bitch. No, bitch, I asked you if you wanted the wings. She's like, all right, I'm not eating this shit though. I ain't eating it because the wings look good and I do want one. Can't give you one. No, bitch,
Oh my God.
Yeah, nigga, I gotta share with you. It's a 10-piece, I won't be left with 9. It's a 10-piece, I gotta be left with 9 because your old hungry ass want to fucking be. Talk about it look good. Then you try it, you gonna leave the bowl with some meat on it still? Fuck out of here. I don't expect it. But I was reading it, I was like, dude, is it really that serious?
Yeah.
And somebody need to write, people write these books about understanding women.
Yeah.
That's possible.
What I figured out is you don't try to figure them out, because if you try to figure them out, it's gonna give you a headache. So you just don't try to figure them out.
So don't waste your time. Don't waste your time.
Exactly.
Don't take time with it, bro. Don't waste your time with it. Dude, I can't wait for, bro. Thursday. I gotta.
What's that? PlayStation?
I'm gonna be up. I'm gonna start the gaming channel, and I'm gonna be making content. The thing I have a problem with making the cover art for the channel page.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know what to put. I don't know what to make, but I have an idea on what to make. But I've been working on it. But yeah, I can't wait to start it. You know what's so funny? I have anxiety is real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would be like I've been having anxiety attacks and stuff like that. Anxiety because I was even with this podcast, I be getting feelings of I don't want to do this anymore, or I don't want to start a gaming channel, and I'm like, why? And I'm sorry to get in the panic attack. I'm like, why am I feeling like this? You know what I mean? Even though I like doing it, when you do it, you get into a rhythm of it. And let me say this: when you do it, you get in the rhythm of it, and it feels good once you finish. Mm-hmm. But the days before you do it, it's like you feel your chest caving in, and you feel like you feel like you're not capable of doing it. You know what I mean?
I won't say capable. I see it as like not being comfortable, because with recording the pod, starting the pod, I usually don't take pictures or be in front of the camera that much. Starting the pod is kind of uncomfortable, out of my comfort zone. But in order to evolve, you got to be able to get out your comfort zone.
Exactly.
So some cases, that's what it is. When you take a risk and you're out of your comfort zone, because you're just not comfortable.
I've seen it a lot with us with this podcast. It's because when we start off the podcast, it's like, okay, we starting off. But when we get in the middle, we're like, okay, everybody's sitting back, everybody's leaning back, everybody's chill, nobody's really overthinking it. Mm-hmm. You're just talking. You just have a conversation that you always have with your friend.
Yeah.
But
the only thing different is we're recording it.
Exactly.
That's the only thing.
The camera is the funniest thing I've ever seen for us. You know what I mean? It's like once it's on and it takes away all the emotion. It makes you build up fear from what? Talking to somebody? You know what I mean?
Through a camera?
Yeah.
That's all FaceTime is. That's just different.
I remember I was younger. I used to watch my dad talk to his friends, and it'd be the funniest. It'd be the funniest things ever. The story they have would be the funniest thing ever. And I was like, man, somebody recorded this and made something out of it, because it'd be the funniest thing ever when you were a kid and you watching your dad having conversations with his friends, and it's just nothing but laughter, pure laughter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're looking at it even with us when we be in the PlayStation party. And it's just pure laughter. It's just moments we're having. And imagine if somebody captured it. And I was looking at it, like I'm sitting there, imagine if the camera, or we knew we were being recorded, when we still have the moments. Would it stay the same, you know?
Nah. I don't think it would. It depends on the person though, because if they're like, I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't really know, because it depends on the person though. If they know who they are, they'll stay the same on the camera. Exactly. But if they don't, I think while the camera is rolling.
Exactly. Yeah, but the last thing I want to talk about, I have a brilliant movie idea, but it's not like somebody can do it. I want to see what happens. Like, it would be like an experiment, like a zombie apocalypse kind of, but it's not really anything to do with zombies. It's like, imagine if Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, fucking, even freaking Netflix, everybody accounts was deleted. All the servers for every single platform like that wasn't working.
Was down for like how long?
Put it like this. That was just down until somebody fixed it. Okay. It could be a couple of hours, it can be days, it could be weeks, or even a year. Until somebody fix it. Until somebody fix it. How long would it take for our civilization to be depleted?
If social media was down in entertainment, I don't know. I feel like there would be a lot more suicides, because the thing is, when you're watching stuff, you don't have your own thoughts, and that's why people that trouble going to sleep, because when you're trying to go to sleep, nothing's on. It's just your eyes are closed, and nothing but your thoughts are racing.
Really?
So, and some people can't sit alone with those thoughts racing. So
I was looking at it. I was like, that would be a brilliant ass movie. Days without any kind of form of entertainment. Like going back to freaking, not the Stone Age, but the 1800s, of only having a book as entertainment, or going outside and playing as your way of entertainment. I would say, this is what I would say. There will be more kids. Kids nothing else to do. So there's more kids. If you get in a relationship or you have a partner, there's more kids. I feel like it's going to take a month until somebody pick up a book. Until somebody pick up a book, I give it a month. And then, like you said, more suicide rate, a higher suicide.
And more, I say more crimes too.
You think people are going to be robbing? What is they robbing?
Because they're bored. They're going to be robbing something. They have nothing to do.
I don't think so. Because if my technology is not working, what are you buying with the money? You know what I mean? So I don't think people are going to be robbing.
So there's everything like TVs and you said
entertainment. So. General. And all entertainment was gone. Out of the blue, you woke up. The YouTube wasn't working. Instagram wasn't working. Twitter, every single social media platform, Netflix wasn't working. Even the TV you watched wasn't working. Cable wasn't working. Any form of entertainment. Even, I don't even know. Let's add music too. The only form of entertainment are books.
And people. And outside.
Books, people, and outside, like riding bikes, sports. That's the only form of entertainment. I believe there's going to be more kids. People are going to be more in shape.
Yeah.
And it's going to be more. As the wars progress, I believe more people are going to read more and get more intellectual.
Yeah, I would say they will like know themselves more because they'll just be left alone with their thoughts if they have nothing to distract them from just thinking. So people know themselves more.
And the funny thing, more people are gonna get lost.
Oh yeah,
I was looking
you
at
don't know how to read the map.
exactly. I was looking at it. I was talking to my mom. I was like, how was life without GPS? I was like, how do you get somewhere that you never been to without GPS?
They just use map. I remember my mom was telling me when she was driving to I think Georgia, they just used the map and just marked where they were going on the map.
I don't know, bro. Because nowadays, I've never seen a map.
That's very true.
If that shit not on my phone, I've never seen a map.
Unless it was the only map I seen was like the map at go back to the end of the year field trip. If it wasn't the map of the park, that's the only map I seen.
I've never seen a map. So,
what do you think they'll be able to read maps?
To know what a map is.
And if that happens, nobody would know the time. You think people know how to read analog clocks these days?
Be like, it looks 12 o'clock. It's like right on top of me. Because that's how it is time. You looked up at the sun, wherever the sun was the time of the day.
I'm talking about analog clocks. You know, the clocks would be at school. There'll be some people asking me, hey, what time is it? Like, can't you read the time?
It was on a Kevin Hart's it was on a Kevin Hart show, Kevin Hart podcast. And he said, one of the dudes said, they're taking out the hand clocks and putting digital clocks instead. Because niggas don't use the thing no more. Niggas don't use the hands no more.
No more.
Some kids,
because people don't know how to read it.
Some kids don't even know how to read that shit. And I was looking at it, I was like, that was one of the first things we learned in school was how to read time. Exactly. How to read time, how to fucking count coins and count money. That was one of the first things we ever learned in school. It was that and your ABC. You telling me niggas are taking out the fucking hand, and this long hand is fucking minutes, the short hand is hours, and the second hand, the red one, is seconds. You telling me niggas taking out that and niggas can't read that? I was like,
you will leave it in.
I was like, dude, this is technology. Now ain't technology. I believe social media is the end to our civilization. Social media is the end to our civilization. Yeah. And I want to say another thing before we wrap this up. People, if you look online and you see niggas flexing, like doing the thing, that's all the money they have to their name. That's all the money they have to their name. I'm saying that now. And you look at these bitches and these people with like 26,000, or they going 26,000 followers or whatever, and they're going all the exotic places. These niggas is broken in you.
But my thing with the followers though, is I see a lot of females with a lot of followers. But the thing is, what's the purpose of all the followers if you're not getting something back from all those followers? Like
you can revenue. You can,
but they're not doing it though.
It's mostly like how do I put this? It's mostly like people come to you. So I have a sibling that told me this when she's doing modeling. First they ask you how much followers you have in your social media platforms. My sister has around like 26,000 followers. Mm-hmm. So of course they're gonna use her. It gives you more chance when you have a platform to advertise the brand. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it does help them, but most of the time,
I'm talking about those that aren't doing that at all, though.
Most of the time, it's just a bunch of try-hard ass niggas. And another thing too, it helps with people. It helps to get people.
Like what?
It's more like this. I don't know if you care, but most of the people wouldn't go and talk to a girl unless they have some kind of followers on their Instagram.
Yeah, and vice versa too, because some girls won't talk to the guy. Dude, you know it was like that once a girl was like, do you want to talk to a dude that has an Android? So I'm pretty sure if you don't have a certain amount of followers, you're not going to talk to them.
That nigga, I can't FaceTime you. I can't talk to you. I had to Zoom you, my niggas.
Skype?
I got Skype from the bag.
No, if Skype was here right now, I think it still is, but nobody
uses it. It's still around. Nobody uses it though because he got Zoom. Exactly. That shit. But let's put it like this though. Skype, back in middle school his middle school days, I had a fucking laptop. I had Skype. I was having a blast. I was having a blast on Skype. That was that shit. And kick. Having a blast. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Let's keep talking about. But
I want to talk about real quick the Dave Chappelle on Netflix. You know how I knew something was fishy? Because on the last podcast, I was like, how much did they pay Dave Chappelle? And you didn't really know how much they gave him. And then I knew something was fishy because the way the Dave Chappelle show fit on my screen, it didn't fit my screen
completely
all the way. It was the little square. We're in 2020. I'm pretty sure they can remaster the image can fit a wide screen.
I don't think there's most of the movies like that. Most of the old shows and most of the old black shows is like that on there.
But those shows were in 2000. Was in early 2000. Dave Chappelle show.
Yeah, 2003 to 2006.
So I know something was fishy right there. And then he went on Saturday Night Live and he said he didn't get paid for it. I'm like, yeah, makes sense.
Why would he get paid? He don't own it. He doesn't own it.
Exactly.
Fucking Comedy Central owns it, and then he probably sold it to fucking Netflix. And Netflix having a fun time with it because it's like number 6 on it for a top. And you want to look at Dave Chappelle? You know, another thing another thing I didn't agree with why he left, which was the right thing to do. But another thing is, people forget.
Yeah.
You have a responsibility to your staff. It's not just you who's employed. If you decide to quit, all these other people that works for this show is out of a job as well. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I was looking at it, I was like, oh my God, you're right. Even though it was some racist tension and how you described it.
Did you watch his interview on David Letterman?
Yeah, how you described it. I get how you described it too. I seen how you described it and how it was, how you felt like somebody was laughing a little bit too hard with one of the jokes or. And they were trying to make them as like a horror, basically, how he described it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the amount of jobs made. But another thing is, people forget. They be like, a lot of black people be like, how our community is X, Y, and Z, how we don't have opportunities. And I was looking at it, I'm like, you look at somebody like, what's that boy name? 50 Cent with the show Power. Everybody on that show is black. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You look at people like Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is another person who hired a lot of black people, but also he hires, gays and all that stuff too. And you look at people like what's his name? The dude that dressed up as Medea. Tyler Perry. These guys own studio and hires nothing but black people. And you look at these and you don't see a lot of opportunity. At the end of the day, you have a platform and you have somewhere that can generate income, and jobs need to be filled. At the end of the day, jobs need to be filled. So if you took the time and educated the people coming up, and then they're like black people who's doing the camera work, the editing, and you took those and you build them up, they can build something for other people that's coming up too. And now you have generations coming up and filling these job spots of you. Because at the end of the day, you look at people like Latino people or Jewish people or white people even, and everybody has a job in the same thing. If you look at a Latino person, once they get a job, Ricardo's in that same job, everybody in the house, Pablo, Jose, everybody is working at their job. If you look at black people, they have their business, and their son is doing the business too. There's his son, turn 18. He's doing that business, and he's carrying on that business for the next generation. But when you look at us, you don't think about that. You look at us, and you was like, I'm not hiring fucking Tyrone. I'm not hiring him.
Why try to rob me?
You know what I mean? Instead of taking him up and molding him and letting him build something, we're not educating the next generation.
But it's like, when it's like that, you gotta pick the people that want to be educated, because not everybody wants to do that in the first place. Because it's like, it goes back to the whole like giving back to community thing. Because it's like, the community didn't do anything for me, so why am I giving back to a place that didn't make me get this money? And it's like, you gotta like let's use Tyler Perry for example. Why would Tyler Perry like help somebody but not do the work themselves? Like, if they wasn't trying to do it before he came around to help them, why help them in the first place if that wasn't their intention to get there without his help?
I get it. I understand that fully. But the thing is, that's not all the people. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure if somebody came to one of us, right, and said, I want you, Cam, I want you, and I want Anthony to be the one of the hosts. You know what I mean? Instead, I gave this job to this intern that's white, knowing that there's other people out there that's not going to get the same opportunity as he's getting. You know what I mean? The ones that wants it, will give it to them. You know what I mean? Even though they might be like, oh, this is segregated, it's not right. You see it all the time with other corporations. If you have the same criteria, imagine me and a white dude had the same criteria and had the same resume. They're most likely going with the white dude. Because that's them. That's what they know. They are familiar with that than me. You know what I mean? So that's the same thing. If you're more familiar with us, and you understand that's why, or you're not hiring the ones that wants to be hired. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
I get you.
You know what I mean? Yeah, bro. But we were good though. We're gonna wrap this up though. It was a good conversation.
Yeah, it was.
Fucking, we probably have. We need to get a guest. That's another thing. Gotta work on that. Curse some people out real quick.
We're probably. Oh well, yeah. I don't know when we're gonna get one, because we supposed to have 2 before, but there were no shows.
Like, I gotta curse out some people like some more fake ass nigga. Anyway, guys, that wraps us up for episode 5. Podcast. Got anything you want to finish up? Any finishing statement, bro?
Oh, Volume 3 of Conave, dropping real soon. Hey. And that'll be December 3rd. Volume 3.
Shout out that boy. All right, guys, I'll see you next week. Same part, same place. Peace.